Hello. One second. Okay, so I was doing some digging tonight into the beautiful and majestic Pioneer 1000. The microfiche is released. Honda left out some very crucial numbers as far as calculating the gear splits goes, but with some little equations, related rates, and some Excel formulas, knowing the distance between the two shafts, the teeth on one, and the fact that Honda gave us a statement that says there's a 42% gear reduction, so that means that high range divided by low range equals 1.42. Um, Boom. We were able, by we I mean me, was able to calculate the final drive ratios of the new Pioneer 1000 just using the microfiche and everything in it. It's interesting because it's got a two-speed sub-transmission, right? So I calculated it for low and high range. If you look at here, there's your low drive gear, there's your high drive gear, and you go to different tabs and we try to figure out. Here's the driven gears, right? There's a little shock compensator thingy in the center of them, but there's your driven low and your driven high. So given that and all the other ones like crankshaft, you see there's the drive gear on the crank, and then you gotta go to clutch, and there's the driven gear on the clutch. There's your two clutches, right? Dual clutch setup, very cool. And then the final driven gear gives you the final drive ratio, right? And right here, and then the pinion gear. All right, so these are all the formulas. Let me turn it back to not formula view so we can see the numbers. Okay, so there's your splits. So I didn't do anything other than first gear, but in first gear, there's your four reductions, right? You got your primary, your first gear reduction, your secondary reduction in low, and then your final reduction, which is the diff. Please, if anyone thinks I'm wrong, let me know, but I've double checked these a few times, and I'm getting a final drive ratio of 46.9 revolutions of the crankshaft per revolution of the wheel, which is not nearly as low as I wanted it to be in low range. Um, and you can see high range right here is 33.3. And you do 46.9 divided by 33. That gives you the 42% difference between high and low. So if you compare that to something we know a lot about, the Polaris is not as relevant because it's got a belt, but compare it to the double clutch in the Rubicon, it's a 52.6 stock, the double clutch Rubicon. Um, so, oh no, that's not the double clutch. That's the regular clutch. Yeah, but then we compare that to the double clutch, which is 56.55. Okay, so yeah, it's not geared that much lower. Even though it has low range, it's still geared significantly higher than the Rubicon. And you're probably thinking, all right, well, it makes what, like 70 something horsepower or something crazy? What does it say it makes? Let's see. It says it makes, it doesn't say anymore. It used to tell us the horsepower somewhere. Okay, so according to ATV.com, which isn't that great of a source, but they say it makes 77 horsepower, which sounds like the number I heard before, so we'll believe them. Okay, so 77 horsepower. That's twice what you got in the 500, um, more than twice what you get in the 500 Rubicons, but this thing's really heavy, like really, really freaking heavy. The fact that it's heavy and it's, built for work, like a Polaris. No, just kidding. The fact that it's so heavy really makes me want it to have lower gears. 1,500 pounds curb weight, like that's pretty ridiculous. I was hoping it was gonna have a super low, and I've heard that it's not that low. I've heard some people say it struggles with 32 stock. So yeah, pretty disappointing. If I get one, it's gonna have to go on portals pretty soon in order to run 33s. But yeah, so if anyone's interested, the final drive ratio, according to me, feel free to get on the microfiche and check my math, but I'm pretty sure it's right, is let's just say it's 47-1 for rounding sake so you can remember. And that's in low range. Not low enough. Very disappointed.